So today I'm doing another painting that is a cover-up of one of the kind of abstract ones I did. I didn't really like them. I just kind of did it to try it, and it was kind of a fun thing to do, but it didn't take too long. Didn't really get to challenge myself with it, so I just painted it white, did a few coats, and now I'm starting with some blended colors that I'm using. I like this kind of dark burgundy, especially with the gold, so I'm going to do this one shapes first and not really do any planned out aspects that I do. In a lot of my past paintings, you'll see I kind of plan a few main aspects of the piece or see how I want it to look. But this one I'm just going to do shapes and fill it in with the colors and see how it kind of looks kind of halfway through, and then add some details after. And because of the way I painted over the canvas, it's going to have an interesting texture, especially because a lot of these ones I'm going to have to paint over 2 or 3 times, which does kind of make it look cool and sometimes gives it more of that oil painting texture. So it's kind of a fun, interesting way to do it. And I'm going to do a few kind of abstract style things like that little car I did, do a little face in the corner, and yeah, just kind of not plan this one and see what happens naturally throughout it. I like to fill in these faces with a kind of yellowy brown color. It is a nice backdrop, and I like being able to do some other textures and other colors on it. It's nice too because you can do bright and dark colors and it looks good, so I'll probably go back to that and put some more textures in as well. So now I've got a bit of the spacing of the painting figured out, and now it's just kind of filling in colors and details. Then once I'm about 2/3 done, where all the colors are in and some of the details are done, that's where I do those final details where sometimes I see different shapes, or if I can make a face out of something, and especially with the texture of this painting, the way it'll dry, I'll be able to see a bunch of different shapes within the paint. So that's kind of a fun strategy I like for more of these open-ended paintings that don't have a plan. And yeah, I'm adding a few brighter colors as well. I'm going to add a light blue in here too, just to kind of have those pop out. So now I'm adding that light blue color. I thought it would look good against the red and the dark green. I might add some clouds or some type of detail in some of these parts. Not sure what I'm gonna do because this one's more of a thin outline, but I do like the way it looks, especially with using a lot of darker colors throughout the painting. So I'm gonna put that in a few spots. I find if I only put a color in one spot, it looks a little bit out of place, so I like to do 2 or 3 different spots in the painting with that, just so it looks more planned and a little bit easier for the eye to look at. I'm putting in that burgundy color by the car, and I'm probably going to put some yellow and white and maybe some orange to kind of make it a cool, trippy night sky. This is another color for sure that I have to do a few layers on, so I wait for it to dry, then I go and do a few more. And then I'm gonna put black in this corner. I think it would look good with that black square that I have. And by this point, I'm filling in a lot of the colors of the painting, which is nice. It kind of gives me a feeling of the style and overall mood. But then I can kind of choose my details and aspects from there. I thought it would be kind of cool to have a few roads going through the painting. I've been doing this in a few of my recent ones, and it's something I did a few years ago that I really like the look of. It's also nice because in areas like this where choosing colors that don't clash because they all kind of come together is a little bit difficult. And this is nice because it kind of sections off the painting into more areas where I can add color in a natural way and have them kind of stop where the road starts. It's kind of a little strategy that I use when I feel stuck with the color selection. I am gonna have, with these little black lines going down, some colors going down as well, so there will be some white space, but I wanted the roads as just an extra little detail. And now I'm just going back and going over some of these colors with a little bit more, just so you don't see any white coming through. And I like the purple on the brown, so I wanted to do some of the first details of the face with that before I go and layer in some other colors around it. So now I'm back at that little grid area that I have with the kind of bars going down, and I'm gonna add a few colors in it, and then probably fill that white space with another color, but leave white. I wanna have the color just be, the background color be kind of around it, but not overly done or filled in. And because of those roads, now I can go in and fill some other parts of it. I'm choosing the light blue and probably gonna turn it into a sky. Or then the other color down there has a space for a new one, so I don't have to commit to one color for that whole section. I find if one area of the painting is just one color, it gets a little bit difficult to look at because you really need to add a lot of details and other colors onto it, or else it looks funny. So going through and adding a few other little details that I see that I wanted in it before I'm going in and putting this burgundy back kind of where that little highway and those bars start. Now I'm filling in more of that car. I think I'm gonna add some doors and other little details to it. I want it to still keep that kind of abstract feel, so I don't want to have it super realistic. And going in, adding more, I find the burgundy needs a lot of coats on it. So just doing that, it's kind of nice too, because as I do that, I can kind of look at the painting and see what I want to add. I feel like this gold and brown looks good on the dark blue, so putting a little planet, probably gonna put some stuff there. I did some power lines on some of my recent paintings and I like the way they look, so I'm doing that. And the gold color is super nice because when there's a lot of dark colors, it looks really good with it. So I'm just kind of adding some fun little details to make it look more complete before I get into more of those other abstract style doodles. So now I'm going and adding a little bit more color to that little area. I'm just gonna call it the kind of area with bars, and deciding on what kind of background color I want for it. So going in, I thought the purple would look good on this little planet, then a red to go around it, and might add another color, but we'll see. I don't want to add too much to it. Then I thought with all these darker colors, I'm going to outline the little kind of hat of the face with white and pop in white in this corner as well. I find the white pops out really nicely with darker colors, and it's kind of a nice little detail that if you want something to draw the eyes to it, like this abstract little car to have white around it, people kind of look at it or then can see the aspect within it. Then I just saw this little shape and it kind of naturally looked like I could put like a little cool abstract fish. So I'm just doing that here, and I like this part of the painting because I can kind of add fun little parts that bring it together. Sometimes I'll see a bunch of faces I can do and change up the whole theme. And this one I'm just putting in clouds. I wanted to have that texture where you could see through it. And just going in with just a little bit of paint on the brush, especially for the smaller clouds, just to give a bit of a kind of more texture than an actual detail. And I thought this little area that kind of looks like a factory or some type of thing would look good with some more color too. So I'm going to go back in and add some blending and textures. Then the blue would look good with this kind of little grid that I made out of silver. So I'm just kind of going in more just playing with colors and texture. And I'm going to make this hat actually a kind of a extra part of the road, almost like a road that branches off into a bunch. I might add leaves or something to kind of make it look like a tree and a road, but we'll see. I'm just right now having fun with some of these little details here. I thought that with this kind of industrial looking factory building, I would paint it gray, but leave some room to add some colors and texture. So I'm gonna go in with a few different colors and just kind of give it more of a kind of weathered look. And it's kind of interesting, kind of little look to it. So that's kind of the style that I want to go for this one, especially with that main face having some of those other colors in it. I don't really know at this point how I'm going to wrap up the painting, but just kind of seeing areas that make sense. I don't think I'm going to do as many kind of planned out ones with the way that the paint dries in it. Sometimes I'm just really not feeling that when I look at the painting, and I don't want to force any type of aspect that might look kind of odd with the way the painting is. So just going through and seeing what's natural and seeing when I look back at it, what looks good and what is natural. Sometimes I can see an area and realize it needs another color or it needs a lining or some type of border. And sometimes I am planning to do something and I look at it and I realize it might look too cluttered if I do that. So I'm going through now and just adding some cool little doodles and designs to take some space up. This shape looked like I could do another kind of fish type thing and kind of turned it into like a little whale. I have a lot of the areas, especially in the darker colors, where I have a lighter color and went through with a brush and just kind of added some texture around it and lines around it, but I don't want to do that on every single part of the painting. I did that on one of my recent paintings and it looked a little bit cluttered like that, and a lot of the main details lost a lot of the kind of popping out aspect that some of them have. So I'm not gonna overdo it with that and see how it looks before I go in and do that. I find it super dependent on the painting, and I can't really pinpoint why, but some just call for it and some don't. So I like the amount that I've done with it so far, but I think any more and it would start to look a little bit cluttered. I thought that adding more red into this corner would look good. So I'm just putting kind of like chain links with red. Doesn't necessarily pop out like maybe black would in this, but I just kind of wanted to add more red to this part, and I'm happy with how it looks. So I wanted to do something with the white on the blue, so I'm just adding like a little eye for this little triangle character. Then I'm probably going to add something else with white in that corner. And I wanted to extend these power line looking things, so I just drew a line, and I always like adding pianos into my art. When I first started painting, it was when my mom was going through cancer treatments and didn't know how to really process those emotions, so I would always paint, and that's kind of why I started. And she was a piano teacher and loved piano when she was working before that, and I always just do pianos now. She's good now and fully recovered, which is amazing, but I always just kind of have pianos and little keyboards and music throughout it. I think it's just, I'm so used to painting like that. I love having them in it. So now I'm adding some music notes to that little piano area. I was gonna add another color in it with some texture in this burgundy, but like I said, I didn't really want to overdo that unless I had something planned out specific for it. So just doing a bit of textures, but not doing that kind of style where I go all around the color with it. I find some of the aspects can be lost if I do too much. So going through, I am doing that here because it's a small little area, and thought that the dark blue would look good on that kind of gold brown color. But I'm gonna leave that red part with the whale as it is, then just add a little bit more texture to this kind of brown gold face. So I'm just going in and doing the final touches and little aspects that I want. Thought it'd be kind of cool to have these snowball looking things just going down kind of with gravity. We then extended a bit of that brown color into the burgundy. And yeah, just putting in these final little details and elements to make it look complete, and doing a little bit of lining to end it off. Now I'm doing my final little textures and making sure that every area doesn't look too cluttered but also isn't too plain. And Just doing a few little small things that I wanted to do, and it's pretty much done. So all I have next is that final kind of few lines and then signing it. So let me know what kind of painting styles you want to see in the future and if there's any type of themes you want. I'm working on one that's a carnival kind of theme, amusement park theme. So let me know those kind of styles if you want. And I like to do trippy little abstract paintings like this in a style. And I want to push myself to do more realistic, trippy style doodles with planned out aspects. So let me know which ones you want to see in the future. And I'm excited to do some more. So here's how it is. And I'll be doing a time lapse of this one as well. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you liked about this painting and what you didn't like. Thank you.